Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Once again, I'm Ned from Ned's Tech Bits. Today I want to talk a bit about the hack that has crippled the United States. I really shouldn't say crippled, but everyone has heard about the giant hack that apparently came from Russia, and it got the Department of Homeland Security, it got their commerce section, it got so many different parts of the US government. And at a 1 to 10, this is definitely a 10 hack, and it's amazing how this happened. And it happened because of a backdoor, bringing us into the reason why we shouldn't have backdoors on all of our Apple systems. If we have a backdoor on any of our systems, then the bad guy can find a way in. One thing about network security is only certain people are supposed to have remote access to certain things within the network. And while the government does work within the USA, well, the government does work. It doesn't work the best, and that seems to be one of the issues that has happened here. So what you're supposed to do, if you want everyone to be secure, you send them a VPN tunnel to get into your system. But they were using a software called SolarWinds, which is an excellent software. And this SolarWinds software, you can have remote access into a system, and you automatically update computers with the SolarWinds. Now, the thing about the SolarWinds is it was hacked. Not just the government was hacked. The government was hacked, that is correct. But they make it sound like the hackers just went right in. The hackers just found this little hole in the side of the government and were sneaking in and out. Oh, and it happened for much longer than everybody's saying it happened for. They just released it's actually been happening for months and months and months, which is catastrophic, right? But the reason it happened is because SolarWinds, this third-party vendor that makes sure every system is upgraded, updated, yada yada, inventory, great for that kind of stuff. The updates that it was sending to computers were hacked. Their Orion network was hacked. So they were sending updates out to these computers that were... They're putting backdoors on them, my guys. They were putting backdoors on all of those systems, and those backdoors could still exist even though they know what's going on. So if these systems aren't all re-imaged, which could take a long freaking time, because it's one thing to re-image a system, it's another thing to make sure that those images work the way they were supposed to. It's another thing to set up find the 0 points of, find the home position of all of these systems that have to be reinstalled. You think the government's going to have the time or the money to do something like that, especially now in the Ovid times that we are in? It's just really interesting. Now, here's something else I want you to think about. The Russians hacked. Everyone's saying it's the Russians hacked the United States. No, you see, we don't know that. Here's how we know that. You ever wonder how they know this information? It's just like, yeah, let's just blame Russia. You know, Zangief is a bad guy because he's from Russia. Zangief was never a bad guy. He was just from Russia during a time when a video game came out during the Cold War. Zangief is not a bad guy. The reason they think that this stuff came from Russia is because they take the program, take a look at the program, they crack the lock, they open it up, and they see all the settings in there, and the settings say that they were made with a Russian keyboard, and that this program was created in a time zone that is the same as Moscow, or just happens to fall into the time zone of the Russians. So like, it's Russians. This is proof this is Russians. No, it's not proof it's Russians. If you were a third party out there that was doing bad things, you would want to make it look like it came from the Russians, because it would be the most obvious. Now, I can't say it absolutely was not the Russians, but if you were the Russians and you were making these programs, I'm sure you could find different keyboards, and I'm sure while you were compiling that program, you could have it compiled to a different time zone than Moscow. The Russians have been through this. If the Russians have hacked us in the past, which, you know, they probably have, let's face it, they should know not to do this stuff anymore, so they wouldn't get caught with this kind of stuff. In my humble opinion, it's just interesting that they would continue to do this. Might as well write a little, if it was them, they might as well write a little thing up saying, haha, feel the American pig dogs, it was us, Stalin forever. Oh wait, that was the Soviet Union. Anyways, I don't think it was actually Russia. One thing we got to remember is there's things like the data brokers that there are people out there, third parties, who actually just work for themselves to get information. Well, isn't that what Google does? Yeah, but the data brokers don't get this through good means. The data brokers, the Equation Group? Does the Equation Group do that? Anyways, different hacker groups out there that are like a dark Google that get information, like the information brokers. And I'm sorry, my children are getting ready for school. Anyways, There are different information brokers out there who get information to do different things. There's a lot of people out there that aren't exactly government bodies that are interested in looking into this kind of thing. And it's not exactly like they were hacked. It's not exactly like the United States was hacked by Russia. Forthright. No, they use a third party. Of course, that's how they do things. But if you're talking about the situation, you gotta mention that a third-party vendor that works with the government, let's face it, there's a lot of those, a third-party vendor that works for the government was hacked, and they sent the government a back door. And that sucks. That's just how it goes, though. But anyways, that's my thoughts on this recent hack. What do you guys think? Did I miss something? Am I leaving something out? Please leave a comment. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Have a good one. Take care of each other.